welcome to my channel. Welcome to the stream and another chapter. I believe it's chapter 5. Chapter 5. Yes, 5. Chapter 5, working on that guy there. That's our 148 scale F-18 Super Hornet, and that's by Hasegawa. We'll run the intro. We'll get started. Okay, so we're back. And I need to move my little tiny engine mount. Engine stand? Yeah. Let's see. What did we get done last time? Well, last time we got the nose done. So the nose is done. And then we got our wings put in the top part of the fuselage. That's done. And then we got our intakes put in on the lower part of the fuselage. And that's what we got done last time. Okay? So, waiting for airplanes to take off in the background. Yeah, so I did a little test fit just to see how this is going to fit there. And it looks like it's going to be pretty good. Pretty tight fit, but looks like it's okay. So, let's look at step number 5. Hey, we're on episode 5. It's step number 5. Step number 5 had to do a couple of things. Let's change the camera so we can see what's next here. Alright, so step 5, we got this going on here. And we had to paint our F4 and our F1 black. I realize now I needed to paint F8 as well. I think I may have done that. I may have painted it. Let's find my F tree. So I just went and painted everything except this obvious piece here that's going to be fuselage color. I painted because that's going on here. Bingo. That's going on here. Where's my picture? I don't have my picture up. Hold on a sec. We got to have the picture of what we're working on, what it's going to be. There we go. Yeah, so F8, I did paint it black. Yay me. Yay me. Woohoo. You hear my phone say that all the time. Woohoo. So, fuselage. We need into the top of the fuselage. F4 is going to go in underneath right in here. Let's see if we have a guide for that. So F4, I took them off the sprues in order to paint them. This is for the canopy. Let's put that aside. We're not doing that yet. So here's F1 and F4. So F4 has to go up into the canopy, and in the top half, not the canopy, into the top half of our fuselage. And I guess it just goes like this. Oh yeah, it goes on the floor. That's where it goes. That's right. You get to stare at my head. Okay, so let's try this again. Goes in right here. Like so. And just sits there like that. I'm wondering if I should paint this whole section black or not. So that's just going to go like this. And sit like that. That's the way it's showing in the book. So I guess nothing too complicated, it just sits like that. Right up against the edge. Wants to fall through, but that's okay. So let's get some glue. As you can tell, I've been doing some work on the ordnance, putting our pylons for the weapons together. It's literally just two halves of a pylon. You glue them together and you're done. And I did the fuel tanks. Again, just two halves go together, very simple. And I did a little bit of sanding to try and get rid of that parting seam that you get there on, you know, that's what I hate about fuel tanks. Fuel tanks and the lines between the parting lines or seam lines, whatever you want to call it, the lines from the two halves. It's the bane of my existence, I tell you what. Let's get this lined up in here. Like so, and glue it in. Okay, so he's glued in as far back as it'll go, as far up as it'll go. There we go. Okay, so that piece is in. That's done. Okay, so for the lower part, we need to get F1 and F8, put those two together. So let's get F8 off of the sprue. It's this little bar. I imagine touch-up paint is going to be necessary here. Everything's all flat black. Everything's flat black. So this guy, they show it just going on the top. Just kind of looks like there's a tiny little channel. If I get my knife in there. Right there seems to be a little, there's actually two little notches. So maybe the forward notch there is where it's going to go. I'll try and put it with my, I'll say nub side down. Try and hide that mark. And put it on right there. Kind of like that. That's my plan. So, let's get this off of here. I'm going to get a little bit of glue right there and right there. Grab this, nub side down, and place him in that spot. Sort of, kinda, that looks like it. Yeah, okay, a little more glue. Alright. So that's been put in there. It's hard to tell anything because it's all flat black except for where the glue is. You can see right there now, you can see where I've put it. That's where it's sitting, in that little spot right there. Okay. So it looks like it's assembly time. So they want you to put the cone into the bottom part of the fuselage, cement that first. Okay, so we can do that, or we can try anyway. So we grab our bottom fuselage and our nose cone, and I guess it lines up. I have not test fit this yet, so I'm not sure exactly how it goes. It looks like it's going to go just like this. So put it in like that. And I guess these guys are going to glue to the edge here. Like that. We've got a couple of tabs here and here. They go to the insides of these. Kind of like so. And that's it for alignment. There's really nothing else. So, I guess we can glue that. Since they want it glued first to this, we can do that. Hold that down on there a little bit. So it kind of wants to lift. Yeah, it wants to lift out of there, but that's okay. That's why they're saying to glue this first. Get this all situated first. I'll put some glue on this side, since I already happen to be holding it. This side's holding now, that's good. Get a little more glue in there. So I'll just hold this for a second while let the glue do its thing. The alignment seems to be pretty good. I got it lined up good, and I'm not seeing any big gaps or anything like that, so that's good. Okay, so that pretty much calls that done for that part. So before putting in before putting the top of half of the fuselage together, they want us to put our F1 down onto this part here where our Wizzo sits. I do find this is sticking up a little bit here. I have a little bit of a lip here. It's probably not going to be noticeable once we get a weapon pod or whatever mounted there. Remember we drilled those 2 holes? It's possible. Okay, so I want to be a little bit careful. I kind of want to put a clamp on here just to hold this nice and solid for me while I'm moving this thing around. Let's see if my smaller clamps are big enough. Way too small. See, the problem is I get a big clamp. Big clamps clamp harder down, and I don't need to clamp it any harder. I just want to hold it. I just want to hold it, you know? Why can't you just let me hold you? Just let me hold you. Okay, where'd my F1 go? There it is. So F1, not to be confused with Formula 1, just F1, is supposed to go down over top of our Wizzo's display here. And it looks like we might have to finagle it in between her seat. That's kind of stupid. How is that supposed to go down over top if you can't even fit it between the seat and the display? What am I supposed to do? Block the pilot's view? Like, come on, that's ridiculous. I'm gonna have to break the seat out of there. Which might be hard, it might be easy. I did CA glue this seat in, and CA glue is gonna hold it pretty strongly, and it's holding it really good too. There's a little crack. The problem is the seat's resin. Resin's brittle, and I don't want to break the seat, so I'll have to reprint it. So I'm just going to carefully try and wiggle it back and forth and hope that my CA glue will break free. There we go. Did I break the seat? I got a little tiny piece broke off on the back here, but that's okay. That will help me align it later. Okay, and that lets me put this in place where it belongs. Just like that. That's actually going to interfere with the seat. It sits too far forward. See that? Let's get this focused on here. See how far forward that thing is sitting? That cannot be right. That tells me that this thing I glued in wrong. That's what that's telling me, is I glued this thing in wrong. Because I literally cannot move. I cannot move it any further back. But there really is no way I could have moved it forward. There's little bumps here and here. See, where I'm thinking I went wrong on this because this is too far that way. Okay, it's too far forward. But to try and bring it back towards the Wizzo, there's a little bump, there's a little notch, I don't know what, a little peg here, and a little peg here. Unless you're supposed to put it in front of these pegs, that could have been what I was supposed to do. But at the same time, this is sitting low enough, it's touching the back here. This has a bit of a step and it would have been sitting high, it wouldn't have gone all the way into the floor. Nevertheless, I have a problem here. I'm going to have to grab this and twist it and break it off. As much as I can here, and as much as I don't want to do that, that's what's going to have to be done. I have to break my glue free. So I'm going to wiggle, 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 wiggle. Wiggle, 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 yeah. Wiggle, 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 yeah. That's what I'm doing. Wiggling this back and forth until maybe I can get some glue breakage and break it free. It is wiggling. A little bit of patience. A little bit of wiggling. A little bit of patience and a lot of wiggling. I seem to have broken it free from this, but in order to move it forward, I got to break it free from the floor. And I don't want to break this all free, so I'm trying to hold it as tight as I can while also wiggling this like crazy. Oh, I pulled my display things off. I pulled my displays off. Remember, those are all glued in with PVA glue. So 3 of those just came off in my hand. That's wonderful. I'm kind of undoing all the stuff I did in the first episode. Okay, I'm going to grab tweezers and get down underneath of it here. And see if I can grab down in here. There we go. There we go. Okay. So, we're back to step 1. Let's just put this aside and put our displays back on. Let's put our glue away. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, so we have our displays and our display panel. Oh, that one came off too. Okay, everybody come off? Nope, just those guys. So, I have to have these in the... What the heck is this? Gotta have this in the right way around. So that was like this, which means this guy was by himself and he's over here. So I can take the opportunity to clean up that little bit of excess white glue I had in between them all. Remember, I put a little bit too much glue on these. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to try different glue this time. So why not, right? Since it's all, I'm starting from scratch on here. Since I'm starting from scratch, might as well clean this up a little bit. And I'm going to use a different glue. So, what glue is that? I have some clear Elmer's glue. Let's just move this out of the way for now. Let me grab some clear Elmer's glue. I have this stuff. It's clear. It's clear PVA. And it's non-toxic, so you can eat as much as you want. I don't recommend eating it, but you could. If you get some on your finger and you happen to touch your mouth, then it's not the end of the world. I'm going to go straight out of the bottle with this. Come on. Squeeze some out. There we go. And that's probably more than what I need. I'm just going to spread it around a little bit here. And see if I can get some down on here too. Not enough. Okay. There we go. The nice thing about this being clear, well, it's obviously going to dry clear because it is clear. And that was why I bought it. So I figured I'd try clear PVA. Because you can use it for things like canopies and stuff like that. Right? So I just want to get a little bit smooshed around on the back of this. Here's one. Get our middle one. Doesn't want to be picked up. There we go. Oops. There we go. And our final one. He doesn't want to be picked up either. Fine, I'll pick you up with my fingers, then drop you a few times. There we go. There. Okay, so just like before, I'm going to make sure these are all pressed down a little bit and lined up as best as I can, because they should be straight. In real life, they're perfectly straight, so why not try and mimic real life? That's the whole purpose of this, right? Okay, so there we go. That's done. So, like I said, we're back at square one here. So, let's grab our fuselage again, and we're going to put this in, and we're going to get this back lined up on that. How am I going to do this? Now this is all wet. If I grab it like this, I'm going to accidentally move them around. So let's try this. It's lined up in the hole, but we want him placed in the hole, but in front of those pegs. Like this. Okay. Oh, sheet. Don't do that. Pressing down to get it in the hole. I did that. Okay, so I now have this in front of those two little pegs instead of behind it. I had it behind them, as you can tell. Now let's do a little test fit before I put any glue on it. So I want to make sure my displays are straight, which looks like I made this one crooked. Wow, okay. Let's get you back in there. Okay. And we're going to test fit this guy. And now he fits there nicely. Isn't that funny how that works? Okay. So, let's get him out of here. My displays are straight. This one's still a little crooked. I need to fix our most right hand one here, because he's wanting to do his own thing. Okay, let's get some glue. Some glue in the hole here. Get the tweezers ready. Glue on the peg. Drop him in the hole, like so, in front of our pegs. It's a little crooked for some reason. It's in front, good. Should be down as far as he can go. Why don't you want to line up in your hole? Okay, we're good. All right, let's put some glue back here and here, and just for good measure, a little glue at the bottom. And now we'll glue this guy down on. He's going to go just like that. So we can put some glue along the top here, and back here and here. Glue him in his spot. Put him back here like that where he belongs. It's supposed to be a little bit of a shroud. There we go. Okay. A little bit extra just for added measure. Make sure everything's solid. I am going to have to grab my CA glue again, because I got to glue in my pilot seat yet again. And while I'm doing that, because while I was pressing down on this kind of came loose, I just want to make sure this is glued solid. Good and solid. Okay. There we go. Okay. Alright, so I need to get some CA glue and re-glue my pilot seat here. So it's got to go in like this, and it's going to sit in there. Fortunately, his little broken off part, you know, kind of also acts as a guide for where he needs to sit. So I honestly was not expecting to have to take apart half of my cockpit. You can actually see where he was sitting along the floor there, which tells me it was a good fit. Let's wipe that off. Get him put back in his spot. Put back in your home. That's right. Straight up and down, just like he was. Perfect. Yay. Okay. So with that all done, now that we got all that put back together, we can focus on going boink. But we can't go boink because it doesn't quite go like that. Even though it shows it just straight up and down, I don't think it's going to align quite that easily. But we're going to try. Because of the seat and this thing sitting there now, it makes it a little bit hard to align it. You kind of have to go on an angle, like down, like if I got this sideways like this, it's gonna go like this to match the angle of the seat. Really, it would be a lot easier if I break that seat out of there too, because she doesn't really want to line up on her pegs here. We're close. Close. We're lined up at the back. That's good. Oh, we're lined up at the front. That'll have to be glued, held down. But how about here? Oh, hearing clicking is good. Clicking is a good sound. Cracking is not. See, that's a terrible fit. I got to tell you, that's awful. Let's see if we can shift our bottom half over here. It's just a big gap on that side. Look at that. Could be why we're not really getting a good fit. The front is okay. I don't know why the whole plane just seems to be wanting to shift to that side. The back lines up fine. Our wings are lined up fine. I've got equal gaps here and here. That's not a big issue. It's just as we get forward of the wings, suddenly we've got not much alignment. I'm definitely going to have to clamp this down. It feels like clamping hard to get this to stay there. The rest of it, not bad. Well, we got a big gap there. About the same on this side. Big gap, but that's going to be covered by flaps anyway, so. Okay. I think we're good. So let's get some tape so it can help me hold these pieces together. Get some tape ready. I'll utilize some tape and some clamps and all kinds of fun stuff like that. I use my 10mm tape, why not? Let's get a few pieces ready here. I'll start with 4. Okay, so I'm going to glue and then I'll tape. So we'll start here. Glue there. And a little bit of tape. You can hold on to that. Okay, switch to this side. Alright, now of course we got to do our little center here, doink, glue there. Okay, now this is where we need to get some clamp action going here, where this needs to be clamped down like that before I can add glue. So let's try one of these. And that there, what you just witnessed, is the perfect example of why clamps are really hard to do on airplanes. Because of the rounded fuselage, the rounded nature of the fuselage makes the clamps just want to slip off. Right? This rounded part, the clamp just wants to slide right off. So I kind of have to hold the clamp in place so that it will stay there while the glue kind of does its thing. So I'm going to hold this for a second while I just, I don't know, get a sip of my matcha latte. Okay, so we have our nose. This part here needs to be clamped down. I'm going to let go of this clamp, okay, and it's going to slide off. Whoop! Maybe it'll hold like that. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. It might just fling off and hit me in the face. But then, hey, that's entertaining, right? Okay, so what I would like to do, maybe a rubber band around the nose. Let's glue this first. Get this glue here. Glue along there. And glue along here. Okay. Now I'm holding it pretty tight because I want to basically eliminate any seam. Let's see if I can get a rubber band to go all the way up there on the nose. Those are a little small. I've got a bigger one here. Let's see if we can slide this rubber band up the nose here. Sometimes a rubber band doesn't do enough pressure. Sometimes they work fine. Okay, we're slid up the nose with that rubber band, and she's holding perfectly. Thank you very much, Mr. Rubber Band. So moving back towards this side, this is a harsh clamp guy. This one, it needs a good strong clamp in there. If I try one of these clamps, I don't think that's going to hold. It doesn't even squeeze together. It doesn't, like, not enough at all. If I get a real strong clamp like this, it's just too big, I think, to get in there, and it's just going to slide off also. It's way too big. It just doesn't help me. It just doesn't help. I could try another one of those. I have 2 of those. But I don't think this one's going to clamp it enough force. It almost does. It does. Look at that. Look at that. It's doing it perfectly. Okay. Quickly glue this. It's holding, but it's not enough. It's just not enough. I got to step in there. See that step right there? That is not going to work. That's not going to suit my purposes at all. I don't want that step. Okay? So, clamp comes off, and I've got to just hold it in my hand because I've got more clamping force in my fingers than the clamp does. And unfortunately, that's just the way things are. Sometimes it's just, you just got to do it by hand. I'm still holding this side. The pressure that I'm putting on this side, I don't want to lift this up, so we're just going to hold it. Now ideally I'd like to go and just really clamp down and get that in there like that and seal this up. I might be able to do that with one of my bigger ones, one of these guys, one of my orange ones. These might, if he will hold right there. Oh yeah, glue right in there. That's good. That's good on that side. Get rid of that gap. Well, I'm still holding onto this. I can put another one on this side and close that one up. I got two. I actually got three of these big guys. Let's get him on there far enough that he's not going to slide off. Oh yeah. Feels good. Alright. So those are holding strong. Sometimes that's just what you got to do. Let's see if I can let go of this and have it stay. I want to keep it clamped because you know what? My fingers get tired, but clamps don't. So let's just see if I can keep him on here. And keep it held. He's holding. He's doing his job. He's doing a good job too. You're a good clamp. Yes, you are. And my rubber band's still holding everything closed. That's perfect. Absolutely perfect. So, with this being held, I want to put a little more glue along this edge here. This is going to have to be filled in with a bunch of putty, because that really is an awful seam. It really is awful. This one's got a little bit of a gap here too on this side. But that's the way it goes sometimes, guys. So, this needs to be set aside. Whatever step is next, I can't do if it's got anything to do with this. This is going to have to sit probably for a good 20 minutes at least. I want to let it sit and let that glue cure properly in order to hold everything. That's just the way it goes, okay? So, we've got our clamps on there. We're going to set this down and we're going to see what's next, okay? Put him down over here. Out of the way. Okay. So, step 6 is dealing with control surfaces and fun stuff like that. So let's just fold this so I can keep it on my desk. And we got tail fins and control surfaces, stuff like that. So let's have a look at these. Obviously case 17 and 32, they're one piece and we don't have to do anything with them at all. So we're just going to leave those alone. So we're going to deal with these guys. Other K-tree stuff. So let's find our K-tree. Let's get all of these out of the way here. Here's our K-tree. K-tree, of course, at the bottom of the box. This is the one we've got our control surfaces and our landing gear on. I've already painted the landing gear white. I still have to do a clear coat on them and get them nice and glossy. So here's our two rear wings, right? The only thing I need to do with these is clean up the little sprue marks once I got them off of the tree, and that's it. And of course we're going to have to primer them, paint them, all that fun stuff. But we're going to deal with our tail fins. So K16 mates to K30, so let's get those. 16 and 30, so here's 30. On the floor, we'll just leave them there for a sec. K16, this one here. He's going to fall off and he's going to slide onto the floor too. No, he's going to fall in my hand because he's a good boy. And then we need K43. K43 is this guy way over here. Look at that. He's a good boy too. Alright, and then we've got clear parts. L2 needs to go into that. We'll deal with that in a sec. We're going to deal with our little assembly first. Okay? Deal with our assembly first. First, though, nub mark. Nubs need to be cleaned, otherwise parts won't fit together properly. I've been telling you guys that for over 4 years now. So you should know this by now. The ejector pin marks don't look like they're gonna give me any problems with this. As long as you've got a nice flat surface, like this one maybe. I might have to sand that one down. Simply because we got two flat surfaces that need to go together, and if you have an ejector pin that's sticking out, if you can feel it's raised, then you're going to have to sand it down or file it down. And so I'm just going to take care of them, make sure this is flat in there. It's not sticking up crazy amounts, but I could feel it with my fingers, so that tells me it's raised just a little bit. And so I need to just take care of it because we want our wings to fit together nice and flush. So these guys are going to go together, line up just like this, and they should be nice and happy and not have any separation. That's the main thing, right? So let's run some glue around this edge and have a nice mated couple. At all the corners. When you're all done, it should look like a single piece. Okay. So that's one. Okay. Then we have our actual control surface on the tail fin. I like this detail. I wish more kits did this for you. I wish more kits had tail fin that actually has the rudder in there. I wish more kits did this, to actually have it as a separate piece. Why? Because what if you wanted to have it just slightly askew, like, you know, and not have it perfectly straight and have it just slightly skewed like that. I like that. That tells me it's a separate piece, that the plane was parked, and you know, it's separate. I like doing that. And a lot of times you'll see when planes are parked, the control surfaces aren't always perfectly straight. It's kind of like the steering wheel in your car. When you park your car, is your steering wheel always perfectly straight? No. Even though on the outside of the car your wheels might look pretty straight, but the steering wheel isn't necessarily. And it's the same thing with planes. They're no different. This should not be absolutely 100% straight. But when they make the mold and it's one piece, it always is. And I don't like that. I like the fact that I can move this a little bit. And if I want to make it even more, I can take this tab that goes on the inside and I can kind of shave it down a little bit. I'm going to shave it down just a little bit on one edge. Careful not to actually sand the thing. I don't want to do that. But I want to kind of file this edge down. Just this edge. In theory, that gives me even more movement. Look at that. Look at the movement I have on this now. On this direction, I can go this much. Okay? It's not much, it's just a little bit. But you go on this side and wow, look at that. And it's still in its spot, but I can really move it out there. Right? I like that. I like that a lot. Okay? So, let's put some glue on that. Glued in. I'm making sure it's done like that. Okay. It's not perfect. That's great. That's exactly what I want. I don't want perfect. Alright, so that's one. I'm not going to do the clear piece yet because that's going to be putting clear and then, you know, with a little bit of clear red on the inside of it. That's one of the little marker lights. So I don't want to do that until after the thing's all painted. It's one of those little after detail things. So let's put that down. Let's grab our other one and we'll put our K15, 31, and 9 together. And this time I won't bore you so much with all the explanations of what I'm doing and why. I'll just do it. See, as usual, my chat is really chatty and giving me lots of feedback on how I'm doing and everything like that. Love you guys. Love all the chatter in my chat. Not. You guys are always dead silent. My one viewer average all the time on Twitch. I think actually my last stream summary on Twitch showed I had maximum viewers was 1 for an average of 0. And it's like, oh, isn't that encouraging? Okay, so I want this folding in this way, so I'm going to slide that one, file this side. Good. There we go. Okay. So, and again, I've got that turned in. So what I've done is I've done it so that my flaps are both turned inward. just a little tiny bit, right? You guys see that? Just a little tiny bit. And one is actually more than the other, and that's great. That shows it's not a robot. Right? Just a little bit. It's not much. It's subtle, and I've done that on purpose. I want just that little subtle flat movement. Right? Right. That's exactly what I want. Thank you very much. Okay. So that's those. Now they want me to put those on right now, and I don't want to do that right now. My fuselage is still kind of drying. So the next step, in step 7, is ailerons and flaps, but we've got to put them all together first. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll do one side, okay? I'll do one side, but I'm not going to put them on yet. I'll just put the parts together. So next time when we come back, I'll put them on for you guys, okay? But for now, we're going to do things like put B11 and 19 together, put 12 and 20 together, put 17 and 3, do all these, okay? We're going to do that. Actually, 17 and 3 don't go together. But K44 and B7, they go together. But we've got these other little filler ones that got to go in there. We'll do those later, okay? So let's grab our B tree. Grab your B. B, and I need the K. I need K. Let's do K44. Let's grab that. Here's 44. He's a big guy. 44 is a big guy. Okay, now we got that done. So B tree. I got a few minutes, so yeah. B. Yeah, there's not much left on B, except all of those little flaps, ailerons. So 44 goes with 7. So where's 7? Flip you over here. Number 7. 4, 5, 6, 7. Here we go. Okay. Let's put this guy aside for now. Oh, he's just a little guy that's going to go in here like that. And how about that? He just fits in there perfect. I didn't even clean up your screws and you're ready to go in there. I still got to clean you up. You can't go in your home until you're clean. There you go. So he very easily and nicely just sits in like that. That's great. So let's glue him in. That was quick. Very nice. Very done. Nice and done. Okay, there we go. So that's that one. Let's put them aside. Next, let's go to the front. B12 and 20. 12 and 20. Here's 12. And then 20. Opposite side. You guys may have noticed I've changed to using a file to get the nubs off because I want this line to be flat and straight, right? And it's easier if you just file them down than using an X-Acto knife, because the X-Acto knife is going to have a tendency to want to carve it out, and you could easily make your line no longer straight by carving too much with your X-Acto knife. Anyway, these two go together, and they're going to go together like this. Line up our little pin. So it looks like we just go into this little channel that it fits into here, like so. So that's nice. We don't have the two pieces meeting at the very forward edge, although this is not the perfect fit. It's close, but it's not perfect. I got something. It's not ejector pins giving me a problem, but at the same time it doesn't fit exactly. kind of want to get rid of our, we got our guide pins. I'm going to cut those off. Cut them off and file them smooth. Sometimes, you know, in similar fashion to an engine block on a car model, sometimes your guide pins, they're supposed to line everything up. They don't line up perfect, and they cause more problems than they help. So let's run some glue on this. Get that lined up. Slide it perfectly into the place where it needs to be. Our front edge too. And you see, there is the problem. It doesn't fit perfectly on this edge. And that's the problem with that. So I've got it perfect on this edge. This edge is perfect. But this end is not. This end doesn't fit right in the channel just perfectly. I might be able to put a clamp there and clamp it in. See, again, the clamps want to fall off, but if I maybe put the clamp on backwards, no, because this is going to fall through. Clamp's not going to help me here. How about one of my little baby clamps? Like this guy. Put him on the side. He might hold it. Maybe. Just barely. A little bit of glue. He's going to hold it at that tip there for me, and that's that. So the last two, B19 and 11, we'll put these two, and then I gotta go. These looks like they're going to be the smallest ones on this. There's 19, now we need 11. 11 again, opposite side. Okay. Again with the file. This is going to be same thing, only a little bit smaller of a flap. Where this one is going to just kind of fit into the channel of this one. Kind of like that, like that. And this one, our guide pins look like it's pretty good. The guide pins are good on this guy, but not here. See, that's not going to work. It's not going to work on that. This pin is a bad pin. Bad pin. Let's file him smooth. There we go. I'll just use one, and that'll be all we're using. Oh, I gotta clean up that nub. I got an ugly nub. All right, a little bit of glue. Up in there. Using my fingernail to press down on the front edge of it here to keep it, and that seemed to work okay. This clamp can probably come off now, so that's in there. Good, much better now. Much better. Let's see if he'll do the same on this guy. Yeah, he'll hold him. Perfect. A little more extra glue in there. Good. And I want to run in. I didn't run any on the front edge, did I? Okay. There we go. All right. So that's those. But unfortunately, I can't put them on just yet. We're going to have to wait. So there's our flaps for this particular one. Obviously, B3 and B4, those got to come off the sprues and get those ready for installation too. But we're going to have to do that next time, okay? This is what I'm going to have to do next time. It's just the way it is, because I got to get going. My time is up, and yeah. So I think my plane is probably good enough to take the clamps off. We're going to take a look here. We're going to try taking our clamps off and see if everything holds together. In spite of my clamp attempt, I still have a little tiny bit of a step there. I don't like it. This side is fine, but I get a little bit of a step on this side. One of those things. Let's see if I let this go. Hey, it's holding. Yay. So no more gap there. But what about here? You know, I'd like to just really clamp that in there. But it's just, as much as I'd want to, it just won't. It just won't. But I got rid of my gap here. I'm happy with that. And so that's that. So our fuselage basically is done as far as that goes. Yeah, looking good. She's looking good, guys. But again, I've got to get going. So that's all I can do for today. So if you guys haven't already checked it out, I do invite you to check out the description box down below, where I've got a few links to my other things. Things like my Instagram and my Twitch channel. You could check me out on either one of those. On Twitch, you could actually watch me do this stuff live, and you could ask me questions or tell me I'm fat and funny looking, or tell me I'm doing a good job. It's really up to you what you want to say, and you could do it live, and I'd have to react to it live. And that might be interesting. It might be fun. I don't know. I really don't know. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me on this little journey. And we're going to see you all in the next one.